Playup Perth is a monthly event showcasing and playtesting the games made in WA. The next Playup Perth is being hosted at the Perth Games Festival on the 1st of October, which is run by the Perth organisation Let's Make Games. Joining me today on the line is Director of Games and Interactive at FTI, Dr. Kate Rains-Goldie. Thanks for speaking with me, Kate.
My pleasure.
What is the Perth Games Festival? What can you tell us about it?
So the Perth Games Festival has been running for about 3 years. I've been super happy to be involved with it. Let's Make Games does an amazing job. They have been working to support games in Perth for a while now, and this is kind of like the culmination of their work running this amazing festival. We'll be there, Playup Perth, which is one of the events I run. It's actually just had its third birthday, which is awesome. So we'll be there with some games that are in development. So people go to the Perth Games Festival, we'll play games that are finished, and we're bringing games that are still being developed, and the developers want to get feedback from people. So it's a really kind of cool way to see the game development process and see how games evolve.
What games are being featured at Playup Perth?
So we have 2 so far, with a few more to be announced. We have Oscar Brittain's Desert Child, which is, as he describes, racing on hover bikes in the desert, because what else are you going to do? And it looks pretty cool. So that's like a more conventional video game. And then we have a tabletop game, which I played at a previous Play at Perth, which is Darren Broad's Monte Carlo Millionaire. So it's basically like a card game mixed with gambling, but with not actual money. Pretty fun. Like if you're into poker, it kind of uses the poker mechanic, abstracted a bit. So it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool take on kind of casino game. The Perth Games Festival is such an important gathering and focal point for the WA games industry. And I think it really shows how vibrant our scene is and our industry is, but also just is a really great kind of public awareness thing to show how much interest there is in games, because we actually don't get a lot of support from the state or federal government. I think the Perth Games Festival is an example of all of the talent that we have here that we really need to be supporting. So we're creating Australian culture.
Are there any other facets that people who aren't really involved in games, any other reasons that they kind of should be interested or should care?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So the other thing that's happening, I think people are kind of aware of it. Maybe they don't agree that it's going to be a thing, but VR and AR is like this massive thing that's going to happen, and I'm absolutely convinced that it's going to be a huge thing. I used VR back in the 90s when it was crap, and yeah, you could tell that was definitely a fad. But anybody who puts on VR goggles now, we have people who kind of come to our events who are like, I'm not really convinced about games. You put those goggles on them, and then they're like, okay, I get it. The games industry is $100 billion globally. So it's bigger than Hollywood. So, if you need to be convinced that the games industry is something to pay attention to, regardless of AR, VR, I think that speaks to that directly.
All right. Well, that is a lot to look forward to. Thank you so much, Kate.
My pleasure. To see everybody there.